Alright, today we're going to be using the good old Mod Podge and tissues. Yep, issues. I mean tissues. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using the paintbrush to put the Mod Podge on your skin. So that's the first thing we're going to do. So we're gonna put a thin layer of Mod Podge on your skin, and this won't hurt. Well, it shouldn't hurt unless you have weird Mod Podge. But yeah, it shouldn't hurt. Anyway, just put a layer of it on your skin and try to thin it out a little bit so you won't get any like weird bumps. So I pretty much have it as even as I can get it. So now we're just going to take one of the tissues, we're going to put it on top. And it doesn't matter where you put it, you just need the part that's going to be on the arm. And pat it on there. And then you rip around where you want the wound. And it doesn't matter if you get some of the Mod Podge to show. That'll be fine, it just makes it a little more shiny, but that's okay. And then if there's any parts that you want to cover up, then you can just put little pieces of not toilet paper, issues on, well, tissues. I have issues. But just put that on there, and then after you're done doing that as much as you want, then you're going to put a layer of Mod Podge over what you just glued down. So it just flattens everything out. Now it's not going to get exactly flat because, see, the tissues are very wrinkly. So it's going to be kind of like a burned look you're going to have in your arm once you were done. So it won't look exactly how you want it if you're going to do like a zombie kind of thing. Like, you could do that, but all I'm saying is you probably don't want to use tissues or use something else. I don't exactly know what. But if you don't want it as wrinkly, you should probably use something else. So anyway, we're just getting this flattened out, and you can like bend your arm in different ways so you can make sure that you can move. And then yeah, just keep putting Mod Podge all over it. And you want it to be, if you're making a burn, you want it to be kind of wrinkly and gross. So after that's done, you take your same tissue if you have enough, and you put it back over it, and then you pat it down again. Alright, so, and for this part, you don't need to tear it off yet. We're going to put the Mod Podge on first. So that way, it thins it out, and then where we got it all gnarled, then it can kind of like blend into your actual skin. It won't be so obvious that you made a fake wound on your arm. So, and then after you did that, you can just tear it off just like we did before. Okay, and then once you have that all teared off and moved away so it doesn't stick to you like it is doing, then you do the same thing. You take Mod Podge and you push it over the whole surface, and you can even put some like over to your skin so that it'll blend more into your real skin. And it doesn't really matter how much you use of the Mod Podge. I would suggest using a lot, but not so much that your arm is like dripping with Mod Podge, because that wouldn't be good and that would take a really long time to dry. And so, yeah, you can just get it all flattened out. Alright, that looks pretty good. So what we've got here is 2 layers of tissues, and then probably 3, 4 layers of Mod Podge. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take the end of a paintbrush, and we're just going to like furrow a line down here if you want to make it like open gashes. That's also what you do if you want to make a fake cut. That's what you do. You just go like all the way down. And I did that in a earlier video. And yeah, if you can't get right through right away, just move back and forth so that you can get through that. And I'd say that's enough holes. And so now we're just going to let this dry for a while, and we're going to pause. And so I've let this dry about 5 minutes, but that's only because I used a fan. And yeah, I know I cheated. But if you're this far, that's good. Could have paused the video, but that's okay. Okay, so next we are going to be taking, so this, well, first of all, this is kind of dry on the outside. It's not exactly dry all the way through, but that's okay. You only need the top to dry so that you can do markers on it and stuff. But in the last video I did of a fake one on your hand, I used watercolors, and I realized that didn't work very well, and so I'm using permanent markers this time. So we're just going to try going around the edge of this, of your wound like this. I'm using a peach colored marker. I don't know what your skin color is, but that's mine-ish. Doesn't exactly look like the same, but that's okay because after your skin gets burned, it's not exactly the same color, is it? Anyway, you're just going to go all the way around the edges with it. Okay, now we've got that all the way around the edges. And now what you're going to do is you're going to take a red colored marker, or yeah, permanent marker, and you're going to go inside the holes that you made and make that red inside there like it's an open wound. And you can get a little on the edges also, because that'll look good. Well, bad, also good. Okay, now we got our watercolors and our water, and you're gonna use like, actually no, wait, let's use this one. You're gonna use like, I don't know what this is called, but it's kind of stiff, but it's not really. It's really nice for watercolor, I'll tell you that. And we are going to be using, it's not really a skin color, but it's like a yellowish, I guess. You can't see that, but you're just gonna put that over the surface. I mean, where else could you put it, right? And you don't have to get in all the cracks yet. That'll come later. Alright, okay. So we got that yellow in. Now we're going to take some brown. We're just gonna blot it on there. We're not gonna exactly I don't know how to say it. I don't words today, okay? Alright. So now we have a little bit of brown on there. And now you're going to take a different paintbrush, if I can find one. Here's one. And you're going to dip that in water. And you're not going to get it really wet, but you're going to get it damp. And then you're just going to go over the surface to spread out the brown and the yellow. Okay, and now you're going to take the one you use for your watercolors, and you're going to take some black. Yeah, my last video didn't work so well because I used all watercolor. I didn't use any permanent markers, which I've never tried before, and I hope this goes well. Now you're just going to spread the black all over the wound. And it's going to look something like this. And then you're going to take your other one that you barely got wet, and you're still going to go over that, spread it out and dry it out a little bit, and get it in all those cracks. But it'll do that for itself because the black kind of does that. I don't know why, but it's kind of helpful. And these little white parts from the Mod Podge on here, those are good, because on your skin when you get burned, I've burned my whole arm before, and that's not fun. And when you get burned, you have white parts. I don't know exactly what they are, but yeah, you get them. And so now you are going to take this paintbrush, obviously, and you're gonna get like a rusty brown color, and you're gonna put it in there. I know it seems like a rainbow, but that's what we gotta do. Okay. We spread that all the way in there. It's kind of beside the black in the creases. And now you're going to get some red. And mine does not have pink. My watercolors don't have pink. If yours does, that's great. It works really well. But I'm just going to have to make pink with red and white. Which is fine too. So you want it to be this kind of tinted red I got. So you just kind of blot that in there. And it should be really, really watery so it can go right into those cracks. And then once it's off of your skin so it can dry, then it will dry, and then you can do more on it. You can do more with the permanent markers and like pens and stuff, which is really fun. Alright, so that should look like this. And so now we're gonna let that dry for a while. Okay, now we got our not final, but halfway done. Well, not exactly halfway, 2/3, let's say. And we got now we're gonna use face paint. I've got the little sticks here. They're little faint. Okay. Anyway, we're gonna rub them on the surface of the wound, like on the little ripples, we're gonna call them. Okay, now we got them looking red, so we're gonna smear them in kind of. Now we got some pink. We can smear that in too. And then we got our purple for like irritation, you can call it. We're going to put that mostly around the gashes that we put earlier. And you don't have to do gashes, that's fine. It still looks good without them. But I just decided to in this video. Because I like blood. Okay, now we have our purple on there, and that kind of made it more monotone, so we're going to put more red in between where we put the purple and then where we didn't put the wounds, like the gashes. And now we're going to take our black, we're going to see if we can get out. Okay, now we're just going to put it around the wounds like we did with the marker, but this will smear easier. And it won't be so, well, it'll be jet black, but now we're going to smear that out as if it's fading into the rest of the wound. And it looks pretty colorful right now, so I'm going to do a little touch-ups there. And what I'm doing, I'm putting a little red face paint around around where we put the black, and kind of a little bit over the black and inside the wounds. So it'll get a little black on your face paint, but you can just rub that right off. And we can put it all the way over here and smear it. And like I said, these white parts are good, but you can still get some red on them. And any white parts that you see, you can also put some red or some black on. And then smear it in, because we want this to look kind of gross. Like I said, any white parts, like over here, you can fill that in with red. And then what I like to do, I like to put a little black so it kind of, I don't know what it does, but it just looks a little better. Then all around here, let's put some black. And then some red. Then we can smear that all the way around. And then right here I have some white. We're just gonna, and if they're really indented, you just stab it with the face paint. And that'll even make it bubble up too, so it'll be easier. Alright. And now we're going to get to the fake blood. Okay, so now we have our fake blood, and all I did for this one, now I've memorized it though, I looked up how to make fake blood, and it was the first recipe that showed up. This one, it's kind of an adapted version. It's a little bit thinner, I think, but it still looks like blood. And so now we are going to take one of our paintbrushes that we put away already and dry it off a little bit. And then we're going to dip it into the fake blood. And then make sure you put it into the wounds and then kind of like spilling out. So it looks really nasty and nice. You can kind of put it all over. And there you go. But if you're gonna make it look better, like with markers afterwards, and you want to peel it off, don't put the fake blood on yet. When you first use it, like when you put it on, so you're actually gonna use it, like on Halloween or something, then you need to take it off, and when you put it back on, that's when you need to put the fake blood on. Because otherwise it'll get all like sticky and weird and gross. So anyway, this is the finished product. There you go. See you next time.